What is going on, everybody? My name is Northy, and today I'm going to be doing my round 11 preview. I'm giving myself a bit of time to actually do this one rather than rushing for it now or before the games start. But today I'm going to be going through what I believe are the best changes for myself in terms of star powers and top team, and also going through my tips as per usual. But a few things here and there, nothing major per se. There's even a game mode that has stayed completely the same, and I will show you that right now with star powers, as star powers this week is the exact same. There is a chance that there are some last minute changes made. Obviously we don't know who will change and where, but nonetheless, this team did really well for me last week. Standout performer was Luke Parker. Does suck because I do have his team star power, so 222 points would have been nice. However, Bontempelli with the 117 being the big standout there. Change probably would have been Noah Anderson. I may even change him next week in case he doesn't perform to my liking this week. But Josh Kelly is also one that remains very consistent. He wasn't the highest scoring super player this week, or last week, but nonetheless, he is still averaging 100 points pretty often. So he is one that consistently stays in my team, and has even been one that I have on occasions felt like putting into my top team. However, we will discuss that as we get over there. Indigenous multicultural is always the one that I'm not too sure about, but Shea Bolton has been the most recent change. We were going with Charlie Cameron for a bit. Michael Walters was struggling to start, but he's kicking goals again. Chad Wingard can have really good games every now and then, but at the same time is only averaging the 54 for the season. And Carl Amon is averaging the most. However, I find that that average there is based off of some really good performances, and same goes with Bradley Hill. Bradley Hill can have some weeks where he's really good, like last week, and he can have some weeks where he disappoints a bit, like this week. Oh, sorry, not last week. Like a couple weeks ago, I believe he had 30, which is not what we're looking for. But Carl Amon, he does average the most with 81. However, the biggest performer for me so far, and the one that's been the most consistent, has been Shea Bolton. You may argue that Carl Amon probably has the better choice, but I think Shea Bolton will go out and show off. But nonetheless, we're keeping it the same. I'm hoping for Noah Anderson to step it up. If these two can stay with 100 points, that's absolutely amazing. It sets us up really well. Obviously, Bontempelli getting 117 is ideal, but I'm going to need Anderson to try and hit 80. If 90, that'd be amazing, but 80 is the bare minimum. Luke Parker is on his heels. You can see here 9 marks and 7 tackles is really what put Luke over the top. I've been watching the Dallas Mavericks Golden State game today, so that's why I said Luca. But nonetheless, Luke Parker definitely put himself over the line with those marks and tackle count. So it'll be up to whether Anderson performs to see whether he gets the spot. Bontempelli has been a really nice addition to this team with the team star powers that we pulled of him. I'm not putting Nick Nui in, obviously. He's our most recent team star powers pull, but nonetheless, we're happy with what we're seeing. So that is the star powers. Obviously, last week, 14th, got another prize card. We're 5th for the season. This is the game mode that you're most likely to fall out of the top, whatever you're in, or fall out of your positions if you do not keep it up. So really important this week that we make an effort to smash it. If we can get in the 800s, that'll be top notch. That'll be the best situation. But in order to do so, it's got to be 3 100s here, and obviously the 100s here as well. We've got to get some really big performances. I think if we had managed to get that Bailey Smith that we had a while ago, if that code hadn't been used, or hadn't already been used, and we could have actually used it, Bailey Smith would be in there. He'd get us close to 100, basically 100, and obviously Bradley Hill, the main change, and we could have gotten really close, a really close chance. Who knows though, that's obviously looking in hindsight, but we're going to stick with the team, we're going to stick with it. It's been very successful for us so far, so why not? There's no need to make too many crazy changes. We go over to top team though, and big change, big change here. We have switched out from Max Gawn to Jared Witt. Now, the reason I've done that, I believe the Gold Coast Suns are coming up against Hawthorn, and Hawthorn don't have a certified Ruckman right now. And I honestly didn't think that Jared Witt would be the Ruckman that I'd end up choosing, but he's performing on a regular basis. He only had the 11 disposals the other week, but 55 hitouts is ridiculous. He's averaging a lot right now. Obviously, Maxi Gorm not averaging as much, but should be getting more disposals. Melbourne are coming up against Fremantle, and he's got Sean Darcy to come up against. You can see he's averaging more hit-outs. They're both averaging an okay amount, but Jared Wicks has more. And I believe against the Hawthorn side, there's potential for him to get his hands on the ball. We'll see how it goes. He's not a high mark player. We're going to have to hope that he really kills it in the house with the Hawthorn team, who kind of switch between Ruckman. But Jared Wicks impressed me enough over the last couple of weeks that I think I'm confident putting him in there. The main things here, Bontempelli has stayed in. He's starting to find his form again. 117 points is exactly what we want to see. Josh Kelly is having a really, really good season, averaging 91, up 5 from last season so far. So really, really good to see. He stays consistent for me in my team star powers. So I've chucked him in my top 4 for the last 2 weeks now. And Sicily remains in as my back player. He just gets a bunch of marks. It goes around the back a lot, and he's just there to grab some easy marks. The 12-1%ers definitely help. That's a lot of extra points that he grabs just off of 1%ers. But he's an overall really, really nice player and can kick a goal every now and then. So he's having a great comeback season, James Sicily, doing really, really well. But this is my top 4, and I'm confident. I'm confident that this squad has the opportunity to go all 100s and at least give us a good chance at being a closer shot at getting that rank 1 position. Because I think if there's any game mode we do it this year and get a rank 1, is top 4. Although we may not always get the best result, every single week, your chances of going higher are much higher than any other game mode, purely because top 4 has that little change every now and then. It has so little change to do. You can see here, Lil Tam had at least 30 points on every single person last week, and so he's shot up to 178. And I'm sure he had a much lower rank coming into the last round. So if we can manage to find ourselves a really, really good score this week, we can get ourselves even higher than 5. And I think there's potential if we can get a really good score. We have gotten first before. I think we can find top 3 in here if we can get a top 10 finish in top 4. But again, it comes down to the players we're using. I'm hoping Josh Kelly has a ripper week. Bontempelli's finding form again, so there's a good chance he can be the best forward. But at the same time, there's the likes of Max King, who could have a big week, so a lot of people may be switching to Max King. I'd probably switch to Max King if Bontempelli wasn't playing so damn well. But the Dogs are playing West Coast, and so I think Bontempelli or Max King are your 2 main choices this week if you are to be playing top 4 this week. Those are my choices at the very least. But top 18 we go to now. You can see Maxi King has been switched in. Midfield are probably the weirdest looking. It's been a really, really long time. We've got Wicks now as the Ruckman, as we mentioned before. Maxi Gorn is out for the week. My backline I'm pretty scared about because Geelong, I believe, are playing Adelaide, and I don't know how that's going to go. Blitzar's making himself on the ball in the ruck. But Tom Stewart will be a backman against Adelaide, and I'm not sure how that goes to Tom Stewart, but he's just a strong, reliable choice, and when he does well, he does really well. You can see here, he's second highest for the averages this season behind Sicily. Sicily is just a go-to at the moment. Blitzar's obviously averaging a lot. The difference between this week is I'm trying to eliminate the backman problem for Richmond. Boston, Short, both in there. You may be asking who I took out. Jack Sinclair. Now, some people may see that as a bad option, and I'm not even sure whether it's a good option off the top of my head. But, as I said, St Kilda are playing North Melbourne. I don't know how much of the ball Jack Sinclair gets. I'm scared that St Kilda go, alright, Jack Sinclair is really effective. We're up against North Melbourne. Let's put him on ball in place of Jack Steele. But the original lineups have him listed at centre half back, so he could just be coming off the back straight into the midfield. I have no clue. It's a little scary taking him out because Sinclair could go off. There's an absolute chance he does. However, as a backman against North Melbourne, I don't know how much he'll need to be used, especially considering that Max King is probably going to be really, really fed this game. I think they're going to be looking out for him a lot. I don't know who North puts on him, either Ben Mackay or Aiden Core. God, if it's Josh Walker, call Max King 10. I'm so terrified for this game. I'm just praying that Maxi doesn't destroy us too much. However, I've got him in my top 18 team, just to make sure that we at least have the best opportunity to utilise this game if we are choosing Bontempelli in our top 4, because Max King, I'm almost certain, will have a big game. Obviously, the others include Bailey Smith. Heaney I keep in. Now, I don't think he did too well last week. He got the 69 points, which isn't terrible, but can be better, and so I'm going to keep him in there. I definitely think he has the opportunity to be a better forward. But you can see here, we're also in the top 10 for top 18. Ranked 66 last week. We've got to get ourselves into the 1600s, I think. I think if there's a week to do it, it's this one. Bontempelli, Max King, Bailey Smith. I think these guys can all have a ridiculous game. DeGoey is probably the one I'm not 100% sure on. Jack Billings was the original choice, but he played so poorly last week, and he's coming off the bench against North Melbourne, so he could have an amazing game. I am not 100% sure, however, I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to put DeGoey in there, maybe switch it up for someone else, potentially Norton. That'll be kind of a game time decision. I'm not 100% sure just yet, but DeGoey is in there for the moment, not 100% confirmed. Midfield is really interesting this week. Cripps is staying. He is currently in the midfield. Sammy Walsh is currently playing off the half-forward flank, I think. So my guess against Collingwood is he's going to be running straight into the on-ball situation. Whenever the ball goes down Carlton's end, he'll be right there to be effective. Clayton Oliver stays in. After his last week, I'm pretty confident keeping him in. 45 disposals, marks, tackles, amazing. Just an all-round incredible performance. Parrish and Mitchell were two I were really thinking about, but usually they let me down as soon as I pick them. It's just a horrible cycle between those two. Josh Kelly, however, he remains super consistent, so I'm keeping him in there. You can see just above average. He averaged same disposals, 1 more mark, and 4 more tackles. So if we can get another performance like that from him, that's an easy 100 wrapped up. Andrew Brayshaw, another 100 from him. Again, their big clash against Melbourne. He's gonna need to be on top of every single situation, so hopefully Brayshaw has a good game. Dunkley is going in. I wanted to put a effective doggies midfielder in there. You may ask, why isn't McRae in? Because McRae probably will get more disposals than Dunkley. However, Dunkley is a much more effective mark and tackle person. McRae can get a few. I'll quickly bring up his stats, but McRae is nowhere near as effective as Dunkley is with the marks and tackles. You can see last week, loads of disposals, 2 marks, 2 tackles. Only 88 points. You can get as many disposals as you want, but if you aren't getting those marks and tackles, you don't become a very effective player for the week, which is unfortunate. It's not the way you want it to go, but Dunkley is just a little bit better. Doesn't average as many disposals, but the mark and tackle count is just above everything else, much higher than McRae. So I'm keeping him in. He averages 102 for the season, which is the most. However, I don't think he will get the most this week. I think that'll probably go to another player who has a standout performance. I just hope that Dunkley gets those marks, gets those tackles, everything you need from a midfielder in the top 18 section. However, I've been rambling quite a bit. Obviously, the aim is to get lower. We'll see how it goes. You can see here, 6, 15, 23, 36. So a lot of high-tier players are getting good scores, getting those 1600s. As long as we can stay within the 1500 range, I'm confident we'll keep our top 10 position. But obviously, as I said, we're aiming for 1600. Hopefully not too many people do better than that, but I'm not stressed if we don't get a top 10 finish here. I'm not really stressed about getting prize cards at the moment. I'm more stressed about keeping my top 10 positions. You can see here with my profile, we got 2 rank 5s and a rank 8. I'm really keeping an eye on that at the moment because I don't know whether there are any prizes given out for top 4, top 18 star powered season rankings. I just want to stay as high as possible so that I can keep myself in that upper echelon of players. I'm almost certain that we'll end the season well. However, I'm just a little worried where things go from here. I'm confident with how we do things, but at the same time, you never know. You never know what happens. But we go to our tips. I'm going to try and make this quick because I've been talking a fair bit. So we're going to go Dogs, Power, Gold Coast. That's probably my big surprise pick. It's like 50-50 for this game. No one knows who's going to come out on top. Hawthorn had an incredible game against Brisbane at Tasmania. However, this one is not at Tasmania. It's at TIO Stadium. I cannot remember where that is. Never mind, it's in the Northern Territory. It's up at Darwin, so that's a very, very interesting game. We'll see how it goes, but probably the Suns will be able to play a little bit better in those conditions. I'm going Melbourne over Fremantle. I cannot tip a team other than Melbourne until they get knocked off. I just can't. As soon as they do get knocked off, though, then we'll start to see where their problems start to rise. And Fremantle could do it. However, they've been pretty average over the last couple of weeks. St Kilda over North, unfortunately. I was thinking about going the surprise tip and saying North get up in this game. However, I am just not confident with our back line, and considering how strong St Kilda's forward line is, I have no confidence in North Melbourne, unfortunately. I hope they can surprise me like they did with Melbourne last week and keep it competitive as long as possible. However, that back line is just so sketchy. So sketchy. But Sydney versus Richmond. I think, because this is at the SCG, I'd imagine this one is going to go Sydney's way. It's the game tonight, so we'll see how it goes. But I'm confident that Sydney can take it. I'm pretty confident. However, Richmond will definitely put up a good fight, and I'm interested to see how it'll go. That's why I've got both short and velocity in my top 18 as well, so interesting to see how that one will turn out. But Geelong over Adelaide, probably. Carlton over Collingwood, could be close, but I'm going to pick Carlton. And then Brisbane over GWS. Unfortunately, GWS are looking a bit shaky now. They're looking like a potential bottom 4 side, so we'll see how it turns out. They did beat West Coast by 50 with 132 points. However, it is West Coast. It's hard to tell 100% of the way. James Hird, I believe, is their interim coach. I'm not too sure, but the loss of Leon Cameron now, I think Brisbane take it, especially as it is at the Gabba. So those are my tips. I'm going to leave it at that. Hopefully, this video comes out on time at 6:30. But if you guys did enjoy, be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe as well. Everything is always super duper appreciated. Really close to 850, I think, is the subscriber count. I think we're at 830 or 829, somewhere near that. But nonetheless, keep it moving, keep it pushing. Really excited to hit 1,000. I'm sure it'll happen soon. Not too sure when, but super keen for when it does. So thank you all so much for watching. And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.